to my channel. I'm Shannon Margaret B, and I'm so happy to have you here. I love thrifted and backlist books, and I've been deep in the backlists of a lot of thrillers and thriller authors, and while it's been really fun, I feel like I've definitely been missing like those rich character stories or rich character studies that you just don't really get in thrillers. You get them more in literary fiction or historical fiction. I want to read Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. I have not read anything else by him. I know he has a ton of books out. This book from the synopsis sounds like it's definitely an interesting character study. This book follows the family of a pastor in town, and I think the pastor like runs a youth group and things happen with the kids in it, and his kids are in it as well. It takes place in the 1970s. I do have a lot going on this weekend though. I think we're going to do another hike tomorrow and see some family tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I think we're going mini golfing, which will be fun. Crafting update. I did finish the bookmarks. They are so beautiful and vibrant. I really like this one. I highly recommend them. They are from the craft store Michael's. But yes, just very fun. I was doing these throughout the week, so I ended up finishing them. Then I really needed to finish up all my other crafts to do the craft that I want to work on this weekend. So that means I did finish my book nook. You can't really see it super well. I did work on all the wiring, which is incredibly frustrating. I didn't even want to vlog me finishing this because of the swearing and frustration that went on. I just can't find batteries, so I haven't put batteries in it yet to light it up, but it's very cute. There's bookshops in there. There's lots of windows. I will say my other book nook that I did, this is Romantic Venice. This one is a lot heavier and feels a lot more well made, and I don't know if that's just because it was purchased a while ago, so they were a little bit better made a few years ago, but this one just felt a little bit like flimsier, but the instructions were really easy to follow. Like, as much as I complain that it's tedious, like, I still had a great time. I thought it was fun, and I'm excited to put it on my bookshelf. It's a really fun craft. If you have other book nooks that you've done and you think they're really fun and like well made, let me know. I think Roll Life does a really great job, but I do know there's other brands out there. So for crafting for this weekend, and I'm gonna start like tonight, I'm so excited, I'm going to try to make a beaded bag. I did get some supplies, so I got these colors. I feel like they're giving like Little Mermaid, and I really love them. But the idea is that on my honeymoon, like, I don't want to pack like a actual purse at night when we run to dinner. Like, I just want a little bag that I can throw like my phone and my lip gloss in, and like that's all I'll need because I'm on vacation. Got some wire, and I got some fabric to try to weave all the beads into, but I just thought it would be a fun little project. I don't know if I have like nearly enough beads. I'm probably gonna have to go back to the store again. Yeah, that's my goal, is to make like a cute little dinner honeymoon bag, just because I think that's so cute and so special. And I need to clean off my entire craft table right now because it is a disaster from finishing up this book nook. I just can't wait to have my table back and start a new craft. Saturday morning, someone is sleepy and he doesn't even know how good his day is about to get, because we are taking him with us today because we're going to be gone for so long. We're going on a hike, and then we're going to stop at a winery, and then we're seeing family. So I kind of had to dress pretty weird because I'm like, it's cold out. I stayed up way too late last night. I was reading and watching the live coverage of Coachella, and it was so fun. I just had a great time. I stayed up way too late though, and I'm a little tired today. Crafting update. It's kind of hard to like show you what I'm doing, but this is, I think the word is an amalgamation of all of the crafting things that I have, because to put the gems in, I'm using my diamond art tray. And then this ring, which is working out perfect for me, is actually from, I think in maybe my Wendy Walker vlog, I had a huge like punch needling fail. This was the, I don't know what you call this, but this came with the punch needle kit. So this will be one side of the bag, and then I'll do another piece of this and do another side of the bag, and then in chalk I kind of outlined like how big my phone was plus a little space. And then this is like all wiry back here. And Michael's does have canvas, so I think I'm gonna go back and get canvas, so I'll sew canvas onto the other side, and then I'll do this for another half of it, and then I'll sew both sides together. And hopefully it's as simple as that. I'm not super sure what I want to do for a strap yet, but it doesn't look like much, but it's really cool, and I really do love it, and I really do love the colors in it, and I think it's definitely very like tropical honeymoon vibes. Ultra therapeutic to do this. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm doing I think it's called a back stitch. You go up and put the bead on, and then you stitch backwards, and then you go up past your first stitch, and then you put the bead on and go backward. There was a lot of trial and error, obviously, because I was very confused at first how to actually get the beads like into the fabric. I'm worried a little bit about the weight, but I think when I sew the canvas onto the back, which will be ultimately like the inside of my bag, I think it'll work out, so we'll be fine. Do an update on Crossroads. I'm having the best time reading this. So I'm 120 pages in. This is following the pastor Russ and his family. And his family's kind of a little all over the place, but it is very like nostalgic reading this book. So we're following a family of 4. Russ and his wife are having some marital issues. He likes one of his parishioners, unfortunately. We're getting different POVs from the point of view of the wife and the kids. So far, I really love the point of view of Perry. He is the high schooler in the family, and he is selling drugs to 7th graders and kind of a bit of a misfit, but like very emotional, and I really like his character. And then we're also following Becky, and Becky is experiencing her first love. A little older than Perry, I think. She's going to college, so she's trying to navigate like applying to colleges and doing all of that jazz, and just experiencing her first love. And it's so sweet. Her first love is like this boy Tanner, and there's just so many things in this that feel like so nostalgic to me. I am one of 4 kids, and just the way they talk about their sibling dynamics, like Becky is talking about the other brother Clem, who comes home from college. I will say I'm not obsessed with Clem's chapters, just because he's like head over heels for this girl at college and pretty much tanking college being with this girl. This also takes place in the 1970s, so he's deciding if he will enlist in the army, because right now he's on deferment to go to college. It's just, there's a lot going on with this family, but it's so like relatable and very comforting to read. Her point of view, I'm just loving so much. Back to Clem. Clem's kind of a hot mess. And then there is a 4th child, I think. I keep saying like it's very nostalgic. Like Becky talks about like how excited she is for one of her siblings to come home from college, and I'm the youngest sibling, and I just like remember that feeling of like they come home and you want to tell them everything, but like they're so far away from you now because they have all these like big grown-up experiences, and they just think you're like a little kid. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I really like Jonathan Franzen's writing. I love everybody's characters and how they're written so far. Yes, this is long. We have a long journey with this book. I do have the audiobook as well, and I'm enjoying the audiobook too. Super busy weekend. Luckily today's Monday, and I actually just had a day off, which was so lovely. I have all of the updates. I have crafting updates, and I just had a book outlet order delivered, which I will show you. And then I have a reading update. So I am on page 347. So I have about like 220-ish pages left. And this book is certainly a chunker. I will say my views kind of have changed as I've been reading. It's a beautiful story about the Hildebrandt family, but it's very like mundane. The parents are trying to figure out their lives just as much as their kids are trying to figure out their lives. But I think it's fun that each child is in like a different phase. Like we have someone in high school, someone getting ready to go to college, someone in college, so seeing their dynamics with each other and how they're navigating these big decisions. A little bit of a tough read to get through when there was the mom's chapter was like 60 or 70 pages long, and it was like about her backstory, which was very sad and depressing, so it was just like very long. But I do love character study book. There's a decent amount of like humor told throughout it, and like the family just like is kind of funny at points. The book takes place around Christmas time, and we're not at Christmas yet. That's coming up, so I think Christmas will be when all their stories kind of combine and we get like a lot of resolution. So that's what I'm hoping happens in the next 200 pages. If the book were to stay where it is right now, like I definitely want to read more of Jonathan Franzen's books. So if you have other ones by him, let me know, because he has a lot of books, so his backlist is kind of intimidating to think about. And I will say regarding the religion in this book, like I don't find that they're trying to overly give you a message in this book. I think it's a lot of like cut and dry, like this is what the religion thinks. This book is like not preachy at all. I think it's cool that they have like their kids all have different spiritual views, so some of their kids like don't even go to their dad's church. Give them that authority and not push religion on them. I think I would have had a really hard time getting through this book if I didn't have the audio, because the audio is kind of getting me through some like tough long chapters. But yes, making our way through the family and sibling dynamics and parent dynamics, so there's a lot going on while also like nothing is going on, but I kind of like books like that. This is how the side of the purse is coming. These lines are going to be where I'm sewing the other pieces together. We have a buddy to help us with our book haul. Now's the exciting part. Let me open my book haul. I think it's so interesting now that like Book Outlet fully wraps their books, but I love it because I've actually had, back in the day, I had my books get wet from them because they weren't doing this, so I actually really do appreciate that they're doing this. I have the ever favorite pull tab. Okay, so you're very quickly going to see a theme in this book haul. That theme being my honeymoon is coming up, and I am absolutely bringing some fun honeymoon reads with me. So the first one I got, this is One of the Girls. So this is a bachelorette trip story to the Greek islands. Yep, Greek islands for a bachelorette party. So that seemed on theme for me. Honeymoon by Kate Gray. I'm not going to talk too much about what these are about, just because I will explain them in my honeymoon vlog. The Trip by Phoebe Morgan. Oh my god, The Rocks. Wait, this book is so pretty. This is The Rocks by Peter Nichols. So this is about a couple that goes on their honeymoon and some crazy things happen. It says 2 families, 4 lovers, 1 seaside resort community, and a 60-year secret. Sounds really good. I had gotten a few deals on this one. So they had their 3 for $10 bundle going on. So I'll show you the 3 I got for that. And I had another deal running with it that if you spent $35, you got a free book worth, I think, 6 or 7. So my free book that I got is The Four by Ellie Keel. And I was just reading the synopsis on Book Outlet and I really liked it. This is a boarding school book, and that is some of my favorite books are boarding school or like university books. And it says 1 secret could destroy them all. We always were the 4 from our very first day at High Realms, the 4 scholarship pupils, outsiders in a world of power and privilege. And I think there is a murder on campus, and then chaos ensues. And then the 3 books I got for the 3 for $10 author bundle is Trust Her by Flynn Berry. So I have Northern Spy by Flynn Berry, and I really wanted to read both of these. I love books about like spies or CIA. This one I think is the MI5 and the IRA. I think this takes place in Dublin. So this one sounded really interesting. And then I got 2 books by Lisa Scottolene. So this is The Truth About the Devlins, and I just think the cover is so cool. And it says, a wayward son, a wealthy family, a murder that could destroy them all. Meet the Devlins. Are they a family or a conspiracy? So I think she has kind of like a series of following families, because there's also What Happens to the Bennets, which I want to read. And then I got The Unraveling of Julia, which this one also, it's like a glossy cover, and this is all raised. It's so cool. One awful night, Julia witnesses the murder of her beloved husband during a mugging on a Philadelphia street. Later, while she's grieving, she's shocked to discover that his death was predicted by her horoscope. But I'm really excited for these two. I'll check in with you when I do finish up Crossroads and let you know what my overall review of it is. I'm headed out to work, but I figured before I go, I shall give you my review of Crossroads. I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 5. Ultimately, how the end of the book went was not great for me. I really enjoyed probably about the first 250 pages. I thought the middle dragged quite a bit, and then I feel like the ending just wrapped itself up so fast. So after I finished this, I did the little research as I do to see what other people thought of it, or if there's any things I was missing that I should have known. And what I found out is this is the start to a trilogy. So Jonathan Franzen, they said maybe 2025 would come out with a sequel, I guess, and it just never happened. This would be the start of a trilogy, and it would go up to present day. I love that. Like, if that's the case, if this is the start to a trilogy, I would give this like 4, maybe even a 4.5 out of 5, just because I do think it set us up to know every single little detail about every single family member. I think when I was reading it and I was like, wow, we are going into a backstory for about 100 pages. Like, I think the parents' backstories combined probably take up about 200 pages of this book, and that's a lot. Like, even though this book is about 600 pages, that's still a lot. That's a third of the book just on the parents' backstories and their whole life. I see why you need the backstories, and I appreciate that. And knowing now that this was the start to a trilogy, I 100% understand why this book was written this way. Because for me, I was like, oh my god, I feel like there's so many things that he's not going deeper into that he should. But knowing that there could be a second one, if the second one ever comes out, I will absolutely read it. It makes so much sense that this was just teeing up everything to come, and in that sense I would have rated this way higher. But as a standalone, if there is never another book that comes out, yeah, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I love the character building. I loved all the intricate relationships within the family. The book just spends so much time talking about sex, like not even the actual like act of it, but just like talking about everything surrounding sex and religion. And like that, I just wasn't like, it just was too strong of a theme where I didn't think that needed to be the theme throughout the entire book. And I think the main character, the pastor, having all of these thoughts that he's having, I'm like, we can do that, but we don't need to do it. Like, I just felt like some things that literally from page 1 were repetitive throughout the entire 600 pages. And I was like, can we just like move on from this? And I think when there was conflict, it took a long time for the conflict to build in some of the characters' lives. I wish this actually focused more on the children. I do appreciate the parents' story, and I understand why their stories exist and how they are the ones raising the kids, so we won't understand the kids until we understand the parents. I just thought the kids' stories were so much more richer. And then like even Clem is in the beginning, and like he doesn't come back until the very end, and then it's just like very anticlimactic. And I just was like, you can't give me this character that I really, really love and bond with and then just like almost take them out of the story and not give them more chapters. I wish the chapters like switched a little more. I really did enjoy the writing. I think it's a cool story. I think the 1970s is also just a great time period to set a book with everything that's going on. There's some music references in here. There's a lot of things about the war and religion combining with war and everything, and I thought that that was really interesting. I know for a fact the second one's going to be amazing because of how much building there is in this book. It made me remember a book I read a while ago, and that is Ask Again, Yes. And this one's way shorter, and this is about two neighboring families, and you're exploring both of the neighbors' marriages and their kids finding love and just growing up, and it like spans over the family's lifetime. Some similar themes from Crossroads and Ask Again, Yes. So if you like Crossroads, I'd recommend this. If you like this book, I would recommend Crossroads. And a quick crafting update, I'd say I'm about a third through. I don't think I'm quite halfway yet, but probably about a third through, and I'm just loving it so far, and I think it's really fun. We'll definitely show you the progress in my other vlogs coming up. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye!